Yeah, what is going on here? This is really something. What kind of fish are even going in here? I'm just testing again, simply on the Nightcrawler. Very, very, very simple, without anything special here at the Old Burg. And suddenly I'm already catching quite special fish, especially the whitefish, Ostrog Whitefish, just right here on the bottom. Right now, maybe there's a grass carp on. Oh, wow. Okay, a normal common carp. Not bad at all. So just freshly cast out, that's what it looks like at the moment. 5 minutes here, already 2 tench. 1 Ostrog Whitefish, common carp. That already looks quite good here. Well, right here at the Old Burg, after a long time, just came back here again. Very simple, just like you used to do it. Not thinking too much, just casting out here, clipped to 8 meters. Very simple. And the whole thing here, just with the Nightcrawler. So really basic fishing, and it looks really good. And what really surprised me is the Ostrog Whitefish here. And if I look at the records, you keep seeing Ostrog Whitefish, for example, simply on the worm. And always just a single bait, not double bait. Double bait in the records always means that the fish was caught on float. But in the records, you always see only the single worm. And that in turn means that you can probably also fish the Ostrog Whitefish very well on the bottom. So of course, I'm somewhat surprised now. If you compare that with the other whitefish species at Ladoga or also at Kuori, you catch them excellently more on float, and of course also really well when you already have double bait, and then usually more with different kinds of larvae. And here with the Ostrog Whitefish, it seems to be the case that it also bites very well on the bottom, and like I said, on worm. So that's what it looks like right now with the Ostrog Whitefish. Just worm. Nightcrawler is also included. Worm, worm, worm. And I'll definitely test that again in a moment. For now, I'm going to wait out the night first. During the night, I would prefer to have the Nightcrawler on the rods, because at night, we of course also have the chance that eel bites here, or that burbot bite here, and they tend to bite much less or only in very small sizes on the worm. And then in the morning hours, or let's say around 10, 11 o'clock, I might switch again to the worm and just see what happens. That way, there's even more chance that the Ostrog Whitefish comes in. The Nightcrawler definitely seems to work really well here too. So, freshly cast out, and it starts again. I've already influenced the spot a bit though, because the first fish here was a tench. I thought, okay, if the tench is already here, I'll throw in some tench ground bait as well, so I can steer the spot a bit more towards tench. So accordingly, the spot is already slightly influenced now. What ground bait influences and what effect that has will be explained in the spot video. So what influence do we actually have with ground bait on a spot? And what even is a spot? Yeah, and now it's just a matter of waiting and seeing what else comes in here, especially during the night. And if 1 or 2 eel are in there, that's not bad at all. So a very simple setup, just with Nightcrawler, anything can go in. In the worst case, though, a big grass carp might also get in, the Amur, and then you have to run a lap around the lake first. All right, there we already have the next one on. He took a bit to decide. Still hasn't really. Now he's on. Well, look at that. Maybe a bigger tench? Or again, oh wow, or again a common carp. I definitely have to guide the fish in this direction so that it swims back. That means the rod goes over here now, so the fish flees exactly in the other direction. So I'm pushing to the left so it escapes to the right. Yes, exactly. That's where I want him. All right, now everything is fine again, otherwise I'd have to run around half the lake. And we don't want that, right? He's still active. So push back again, push in that direction, so he flees the other way. There, you can already see he turns around, but not far enough. Push more. The drag stays like this. Yeah, let's keep it in that range. That's enough at the limit. Yeah, he's still active, and push even more in that direction, because I don't want him to run off over there. The map is completely open there. He could go behind the island as well. That means if he swims there, I'd have to run all the way back to the Burg, then over the bridge again, and back on the other side. That would be an absolute catastrophe. So I'd have to keep running around here and follow the fish. That's why we do it like this for now. And I try to tire him out so he stays in that direction and keeps swimming towards the bridge, then everything is fine. All right, if he just stays there now, that's perfect. Let's see if I can get back. Yes, because then I can already see the other rods, and I think one of them is also in action. Yes! Keep tension, keep tension, keep tension. Push left again so he stays in that direction. There we go, that works. I think he's getting a bit tired already. Not really yet. He still has power, he's still pulling off quite fast. Maybe it actually is a grass carp, they can really go hard. Black or white Amur, we'll see. Let's add a bit more drag. The head shakes weren't that strong yet. Although, yeah, it's getting borderline. All right now, and now we go a bit higher. If you lift nicely upward, it gets harder for the fish because you're pulling up, and upward is where they have the least strength. And then we'll see. Man, he's really going for it. I mean, I'm also relatively light here. We'll take another look at the setup in a moment. Only around 6 or 7 kilograms, but that's usually enough. 6 to 7 kilograms is quite good. But of course, you don't want to fish for carp with that. For carp fishing, that's probably too little. For that, it's better to use the mid-game carp setup, and then you're reasonably safe. Mid-game carp setup here in the video, what to buy from level 20. Super essential. Take a look already, even if you're not at that level yet. So you already have goals you can set for yourself, and so you already know where the journey is going, what is worth it, which reels and rods are worth it. Wow, he really still has some energy, but luckily he stays in the area. It's important to guide the fish a bit. Guide him where he should stay, so that even with relatively little line or with a weaker setup, you can tire him out. By the way, he can also swim under the bridge, then of course the same applies. Then again, you move forward and steer him back in the other direction so he stays in this area. So in these small sections here, look, now he's already at the bridge. That means we just go back again and guide the fish in the other direction. Then we go the other way again and steer him back again. And then he stays exactly here in this spot. So it's relatively easy to guide a fish like this if you follow the basic rules. If you know that the fish always wants to run away from you, he always flees away from you, and accordingly, you can use that. Also later, very important when fighting very big fish. I made a video about Yama the other day. Right after that video, I also hooked a big king salmon on a way too light setup, and even there it works really well to basically fight the fish in the same spot. By moving left and right, you can keep him almost in one place, so you don't even need that much line. Of course, you always need enough line from your bank side to the opposite bank. That is, of course, the minimum you need in terms of line. And then you can basically tire the fish out in one spot. All right, now he's slowly coming, right? That's crazy. And the other fish on the other rod is already waiting. But don't worry, if you just leave the rod lying there, it's no problem at all. They won't shake off, or at least not that quickly. If you were to go to the other rod now, lift it, maybe start fighting that fish a bit, and then put the rod back down again. That's bad for both fish. The one you already had in the fight here and the one you just picked up briefly, that's bad for both. Then both are more likely to shake off. Like this, he's just in a waiting position. Sure, he might pull a bit back and forth, he's already swimming around a bit, but the chance of losing him is relatively low. All right, now though, come on my boy, come here. I can't increase the drag any further. I'm already in the red zone. That's insane. That's definitely not an Ostrog Whitefish. I thought I could nicely catch more Ostrog Whitefish here, or big fat ones. But if this keeps going, he's already been active here for several in-game hours. All right, come on now. And steady, there, he's slowly coming up. Common Carp. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow, that's something. Now he's slowly coming in. I'll stay up here until he's at the bank. Right at the water's edge. And now slowly move forward. Keep tension all the time. And now I think we can even walk onto him. Actually, 9.7 kilograms. Oof, okay, that's a lot. 9.7 kilograms on a fine setup. Quickly cast out again. Lower the drag a bit, take the next fish, hopefully not that big. No, that's fine. Hey, what do we have here? Big Gibel Carp? Okay, I'll take that too. Right now, I have to say, everything is here. A real mixed bag. I'm already quite satisfied, especially, of course, with the Ostrog Whitefish. Maybe there's even more coming. Well, look at that. We even have a Burbot for the night. So right now, really, really good. These are also very classic Old Burg weather conditions. That's the typical classic weather at the Old Burg. A bit of these medium temperatures, more like around 18 to 20 degrees. When it goes towards 15 degrees or colder, then it's already extremely cold. That's more special weather conditions. These conditions here, this cloudy weather with rain, that's also always really good for grass carp. But like I said, typical classic weather for the Old Burg, and that's when it works really well with the typical fish here. So like I said, tench, and look at that, we also have the bream here. So a completely mixed bag here, just on Nightcrawler. 20 minutes here now, Common Carp included, tench included, basically everything that defines the Old Burg is here. You can really do well here right now. And like I said, setup-wise, very simple. I'm only running 6.8 kilograms here. 6.8 kilograms leader, size 1 hook, Nightcrawler, completely basic, and the whole thing just cast out loosely. I always use this small gap here as my target. That means I just cast into this gap. Or with 8 meters, you're a bit in front of that gap. And if you go to 6 or 7 meters, you're more in this green area. Then you might even be more in the area where the eel are. So definitely the possibility to go for eel here if at some point you switch to fish pieces, but also with Nightcrawler. And there, bang, it immediately starts again. That could already be the next Burbot right now. Yes, come here. Yes, that's the next Burbot. Very nice. Burbot is also worth it in terms of silver and experience points. That's quite pleasant. Quickly cast out again. You can always recognize Burbot quite well. They play a lot with the bait, they nibble a bit and mess around with it a lot. And yeah, this way you can progress really well here. This is how you also gain good percentages in bottom fishing, because you catch many different fish. There's already a separate video on how you gain percentages in bottom fishing. It explains in detail which rigs, which spots, how you progress the fastest to gain percentages in bottom fishing. A spot like this is definitely a good opportunity to catch as many different fish as possible at a good frequency, and that shows the game that you know what you're doing. So you catch different fish, you maybe have a good rig type, and also a good bait with which you can successfully pull out different fish. And of course, I'll also check again if this is worth it in terms of silver. But like I said, from how it looks right now, it should be quite good. Well, look, it's just after 4 o'clock in the morning and things are slowly starting again. Usually during the night it's a bit quieter, you catch less, except for the typical night active fish like eel or burbot. And then in the morning hours between 4 and 6 o'clock, things slowly start picking up again. Oh no. And here comes the next candidate. No, not again. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay. So I wouldn't go too light here. Not too light. With the feeder start setup, this could already be risky. You can do it for some action, but don't be surprised if the fight takes a long time. And of course, if you're not yet good at fighting and steering fish, then line capacity becomes a problem. Because on the feeder start setup, you only have a 100-meter spool. It makes sense to buy a bigger spool with 300 meters of line so you have a better chance of landing a fish. This is crazy again. Already another one like this. Come on. He's swimming directly toward me. Very nice. Drag one more up. Full risk, right? That's too high. With head shakes, he'll snap the line. Oh, now he's slowly coming in and I think I've got him now. Hey, he's not as big as the previous one, but he also made serious trouble. 7.9 kilograms. Yeah, that's always the thing. When you catch a fish that's heavier than your leader, meaning the weakest part of your setup, then it really gives you a fight. So cast out again immediately, loosen the drag again, and we continue here with the next fish. So Common Carp are here, Burbot are here, Tench are here, Ostrog Whitefish are here. My happy hour is still running. I'm completely satisfied. Good spot, classic spot. You really always have to test this one. And I'll check the cafe now. Was there another fish order, or can I go? I'll definitely keep testing here because I want to try the Ostrog Whitefish again. In the morning hours, I'll switch, like I said, to worm, and then we'll see if it also works for the whitefish. All right, cafe orders. Gibel Carp we have here, that will come later. Tench will definitely come as well, I'm not worried about that. ID, rather unlikely. Burbot we already have here, 1.2 kilograms. We of course sell the smallest one, done. Silver bream, rather unlikely. Eel, maybe with some luck. So there's definitely still potential here. That was 36 silver, and here again, well, 118. So about 150 silver now in 30 minutes, or not even quite. That's pretty nice. And of course, also really nice, the Ostrog Whitefish in terms of silver, a 500-gram fish for 21 silver. However, it's extremely rare. So you have to see what's still possible, and especially where the Ostrog Whitefish can be found. I caught one here in front, so I'll keep testing here. Ground bait mixes, we already mentioned that earlier. I used the original standard Tench ground bait mix, absolutely nothing special. The original standard mix without any additives. I threw in 10 balls. But now I'll leave that out for now. Of course, you can also test the spot without ground bait first to see how it works. But I think, like I said, if you want Tench, then you should use Tench ground bait because it influences the spot even more. So that's it for this spot. Get yourself here to the Old Burg. Just test it with basic baits. Don't forget, the videos linked earlier are super essential to progress in bottom fishing. If this helped, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, tight lines.